You think you know all there is to know about horror movies? Well, instead of talking about it, why don't you prove it? Grab your phone and visit app.horrorpubtrivia.com. Try your hand at the best collection of horror movie trivia on the internet. The best thing about it is it's totally free. app.horrorpubtrivia.com.
And, who's that?
That's jailbait, Mr. Thornton. Good for 10 to 15 years with very little chance of parole.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 13 of Empire of the Full Moon. I'm Mike Cadaver. Empire of the Full Moon, of course, is the show where I choose something to talk about having to do with Charles Band's Empire pictures or Full Moon features, or potentially something before that and something adjacent to that. But today, I'm actually going to be talking about a kind of a hidden gem. I say it's hidden. Well, first of all, it's named Netherworld. Oh, shoot, I have the blue background on, so that's going to look really strange. But anyways, Netherworld, which is a film from 1992 that was, and I say it's kind of underappreciated because it was coming out right in the middle of their heyday with Paramount, with the Paramount deal and their distribution stuff, and Full Moon was at an all-time high at this point. But this is one that kind of, I feel like, got put on the back burner with movies like, I don't know, like Dr. Mordred, the Subspecies series, the Trancers series, of course, Puppet Master, and those were kind of the big, if you think about Full Moon features, those are the ones you think about. Anyway, so I chose this one, and I really don't, like I said, I did see this back in the day, and I assume it was because I used to devour everything off the shelves at the rental store, every VHS, every DVD, everything. We'd be there every Friday night, just like I know a lot of you guys are. Anyway, I don't really have much to talk about as far as background goes, except to say, yeah, this was right in the heyday of Full Moon features, and hopefully you've seen it, but if not, we'll go ahead and play a trailer for it right now, and then we'll start talking about it.
A young man in a land of mystery.
This is my father's estate?
No, this is your estate.
This whole area is just filled with people who practice black magic in one fashion or the other. Love potions. Revenge spells. In Tom's place, it's dangerous.
No, it doesn't sound dangerous, sounds fun.
A young man haunted by a ghost from his past.
Your father was an extraordinary man.
And he was touched by the devil.
I am convinced, Corey, that with your love and support, I will be able to
rise up from the grips of death and return to the world of the living.
Aroused by his darkest fantasies.
I'm gonna put a love spell on you.
She was the most explicitly sexual creature I had ever experienced.
All I could think about was making love to her.
Tempted by power beyond imagination.
My father, he wants me to revive him.
To your old man, may he live again.
But die, Corey. You want to bring your father back today, don't you?
Okay, let's do it.
Now, Corey Thornton will discover the doorway between desire and death.
This place scares me.
Maybe you'll get lucky. First I was alive, and then I was dead. And now I'm alive again.
See what happens when people are bad?
Netherworld.
All right, Netherworld from 1992. Right now, with about 1.3 thousand votes on IMDb, it's got about a 4.3, which isn't terribly high, but it's also not the lowest score of a movie that we've talked about on this show so far at all. It's directed by David Schmoller, and we did a couple of movies from him on this show before. We did Catacombs from 1988, and we did Crawl Space, I think 2 episodes ago, from 1986. And the funniest thing is I think I even showed some of him on the Please Kill Mr. Kinski mini documentary. And so same guy. I love his work. He's awesome. He's just a little bit bizarre in this one, but we'll get into that later. This movie stars Michael Benedetti as Corey Thornton. And if you have a sharp eye and were alive a long time ago like I was, you might recognize him from 21 Jump Street, which is, of course, when I was like a teenager, I wanted to be like those dudes because they were cool as hell. And I don't know. And Michael Benedetti, I guess, was one of them. I didn't recognize him until I did a little bit of research, and then I went back and checked it out. And sure enough, that's him. Dennis Gentile as Dolores. Holly Floria as Diane Palmer. Let's see, we got Robert Sampson as Noah Thornton. Holly Butler, my goodness, Holly butchered her name, is Marilyn Monroe. We got Alex Datcher as Mary Magdalene. Robert Durr as Beauregard Yates Esquire. And we have George Kelly as Bijou, and Bijou is just a weird dude that we'll talk about in a minute. Also, we have a cameo, well, actually kind of a part that David Schmoller plays, and he plays the bartender as Billy C. The story follows Corey Thornton, played by Michael Benedetti, like I said, a young man who inherits a mysterious mansion in the Louisiana bayou after the death of his estranged father. Upon arriving at the property, Corey discovers that his father's connection to a secretive and sinister group of people that practice some kind of folk magic. This magic has been rumored to be able to bring back life to the dead and trap souls in the bodies of birds. A mansion that he's inherited is eerie and filled with strange artifacts and dark energy, hinting at the secrets lurking within. It's also prone to being a place where a dreamlike state overtakes a person, and wow, some of these dreams are beautiful. As Corey delves deeper into his father's past, he uncovers the existence of a powerful occult book and an enigmatic talisman said to grant its owner unimaginable power at the cost of their humanity. Well, Corey becomes entangled with Dolores, Denise Gentile, a seductive and mysterious woman with ties to the supernatural underworld, and Miss Palmer, who is played by Annette Comer, a sorceress who oversees the rituals at the heart of the cult. Oh, by the way, did I mention that much of this film takes place in the basement of a bayou whorehouse? Which is funny because I assumed that there wouldn't be any basements in that part of Louisiana. You know, the whole town being lower than sea level, but I digress. Anyways, by the way, I'm literally calling bullshit on there being a basement in the whorehouse named Tonk's Place. But I'm totally good with the crazy magic and flying stone hands and everything else. Anyway, my bad. I got a little bit sidetracked there. My apologies. The rest of the story is about Corey and how he navigates the intricacies of the dark forces that surround him. Does it bring back his father from the dead using the folk magic? And if he decides to do it, what price will have to be paid? In a story where reality and the dream world become one and good and evil blend together, what will Corey choose to do? Okay, so I think that one of the best things about this movie, and something that struck me early on, like I haven't seen this in years and years and years, was kind of, they were going to film it in Romania, as a lot of Full Moon features were at the time, but they moved it to Louisiana, and just outside of New Orleans, I believe. And the thing is this was a great idea because just the look and the feel of the mansion on the plantation, you have the flora of that bayou and like that kind of environment. It's really cool, and it really lends itself, even though David Schmoller made sure to mention that he wasn't making a voodoo movie. The look and feel of it, the environment is totally perfect for a voodoo movie. And this may not be quote unquote voodoo, but it's a mysterious folk magic that is very similar to voodoo. And I don't know what he had against voodoo, but basically he made up his own little story for it. And it in mythology of the magic, stuff like that. Yeah, it ended up being really cool anyway. So anyway, like I said, the Southern Gothic style, the plantation, there have been a bunch of movies that feature voodoo set in the same kind of climate, and this looks exactly like it. I mean, everybody is sweaty. It's humid, you could tell. There's like, you go to Tonk's place, the bar with a whorehouse in the basement, basically has snakes and chickens running around, which is, I don't know, I see sweaty snakes and I mean, I guess the chickens aren't sweaty, but I see that and I think of voodoo movies. And this, like I said, this works perfectly, not to beat the dead horse on that. So I feel like the DP on this movie went in and said, I'm going to mop up every single like possible look of this Southern Gothic style, and I'm going to put it in this movie because honestly, it's one of the best things about this movie. I mean, it's a good movie on it, on its own, but this really, I think, helped it with just kind of like I said, I love like voodoo stuff. I love like the folk magic stuff, and this in their Southern accents and kind of their like proper way to address one another, and I feel like it really added to it, and I just love that kind of thing. And then you get down to the dirty Tonk's place, and it's kind of the opposite. Anyway, it's also had some noir elements to it. There's a first person narration going on at the beginning. A lot of the story was told by flashbacks, and especially it would, like, for instance, there'd be some Michael would be reading one of his father's books, and then it would flash back to him writing it and what's going on in his mind at the time and all that stuff. I thought it was really cool. It's a very surreal movie, though. It's like it's not like, I mean, it totally tells a straight narrative, right? There's no like weird storytelling. I'm gonna actually, next podcast, I'm gonna be talking about a movie called Vampire, and I talk about that also being very dreamlike, but this was dreamlike in a way that still the narrative was stitched together, as opposed in that movie. But I'll talk about that. You'll have to just go check that out yourself. Anyways, but yeah, like I said, there was all sorts of dreamlike stays, hot women, nude women, and all sorts of good stuff like that. The music is something that we have to talk about. Now, the music is kind of, well, okay, so I'll start like this. This movie kind of looks like, I don't know, like a Shannon Tweed 90s erotic thriller a little bit, that, I mean, I guess it was made in the 90s and all that stuff, but I mean, it had that feel to it, kind of like a softer, like, edges, and the music was very porno-y as well. I mean, not to mention the nudity in the whorehouse and all that stuff. And like I said, Shannon Tweed would be proud of the way that this movie was presented. The music, which is interesting, it was scored by a guy named David Bryan, who is the keyboardist for your favorite, my favorite, Bon Jovi, especially from the 80s. Come on, guys, you know you love it, even though you told your buddies you didn't because it was too girly, but whatever. But his music added a lot to that kind of, like, not that I'm like, I hope I'm not coming off as like this, I am the expert at 90s erotic softcore porn, because I'm not, but the ones that I have seen, especially back in the days that we rented, had the same style of music. But it's not just that style of music. David Bryan actually seemed to take a couple of cues from Richard Band as well. It had that kind of listful and just kind of up and down type of music, and it was really great. I think he did a great job on this. It was weird, but I feel like with the music, the best thing that happened was Edgar Winters. He's at the house. Him and actually David Bryan is at the house band at Tonk's place, and there's actually a real brand new song. Well, at the time, obviously, that Edgar Winters wrote and performed just for this movie. He didn't perform it live, in the movie, but you could hear him playing it, and it was a cool. I mean, it was a great tune. Especially, I was kind of like, wow, they used this song for, like, I mean, no offense, but this is kind of a lower budget movie. I mean, as are all Full Moon features, and I love them all, so I'm not talking crap or anything. It's got that Southern charm, if you're a big, like, Black Betty and all that kind of Southern rock stuff like that. It's good. It's just good stuff, and I really liked it. Anyways, let's see. Like I said, I love voodoo movies. This has its own style, but the thing is I think it does a great job. Now, as far, it does seem kind of like a erotic thriller more than kind of a straight up horror movie. But I mean, obviously there's supernatural elements to it. It is a horror movie. There's a lot of artistic flourishes that happen. Just like weird stuff, just like stuff that Schmoller decided to do. For instance, there was this little gag that he was a bartender and he would like, you know how like you put a basketball on your hand and you do that? Well, he was doing that with a beer bottle. And it's like, what? Why is this? It was cool. I liked it quite a bit. It was just, there's this out of crazy character named Bijou. And he was just some weird, sweaty, old, tubby guy that just bizarre. And his lines were just so like, I don't like, nobody talks like that. Why is he saying this stuff to that kid? Long story short, it's this has its moments of just like, what is going on type of thing. But I like this movie quite a bit. The special effects were good. You had John Carl Buechler, who did all the special effects, and mainly there was a few in there. It wasn't the most effects heavy film that Full Moon Pictures has put out. However, there's one stone hand part I was saying that flies around, and you know what? It's great. It's funny. I mean, it is low budget. There's a couple of times where, this was made to go directly to video, so I don't think they were too worried about seeing the line that the hand was flying on. There's also one part where we get the POV of the hand flying around the halls, coming to kill somebody who is, getting one of the girls, and you see the cart wheels, like the shadow of the cart that the camera is on. You see the shadow of the wheels on there, and it's funny, and it's great. I love it. I thought it was great. So like I said, I liked it this time around again. I remember it being a little dirtier, to be honest with you, but it still's got enough in there to keep you interested if that's what you're into. And like I said, I'm no expert on any of that stuff. You've got to believe me. Okay. But, one thing that Charles Band, and I've mentioned this, I feel like every single time we've done a Full Moon feature on this, there is a video zone, which is awesome. It has a featurette about behind the scenes. It's got something with David Bryan, and he was interviewed about the music. It also has a little funny, it has John Carl Buechler talking about his work in the special effects and all that stuff. It's great. He's a funny dude too, so check that out. That's on YouTube as well. If you don't have, you need to be subscribed to the Full Moon features channel anyway. I watch that thing more than I watch like Netflix or even Shudder, to be honest with you. But so it's cool. One cool thing is that Charles Band had an idea to start something called Moonstone Records, which was going to be a music distribution kind of a company, right? And they were going to they're going to put the soundtracks on CD, and they were going to put those out for everybody. And I don't know what happened. There's not a ton of information on the net about it, but they did put out 14 things. Some of those were like Subspecies soundtracks or scores, Bad Channels, The Pit and the Pendulum, Netherworld, like I said, this one, Bad Channels, and a few more, but those would have been the ones I probably would have picked up. Anyway, thanks again for checking it out. Go check out Netherworld. It's a great one, 1992. It's got that 90s vibe too, all the way down. Like the weird way, I remember in the 90s thinking, man, the 80s, everyone looked weird. Now we look normal in the 90s. Now looking back at the 90s, I'm like, shoot, we looked weird. But anyway, long story short, please tell your friends about the show. Go check out app.horrorpubtrivia.com. Have some fun doing some horror trivia stuff. I'm not going to go over everything, but go to corpsecollective.com to check out everything that's going on over there. A lot of the projects